Welcome to Chasing Circa Millions, a season-long journey swimming with the Sharks for a shot at a piece of $6 million. Each week of the NFL season, Dave and Matt will break down the schedule and come up with 5 picks against the spread to enter into the Circa Millions contest. Let's see what the guys come up with this week.
Good evening and welcome to Chasing Circa Millions, Week 12, where me, Dave, and him, Matt, pick 5 games every week to enter into the Circa Millions contest, looking for a piece of the $6 million prize fund that they have in Circa Millions. How you doing this week, Matt?
Not too bad. I wish our results were better for our fan base, but we're going to keep trying and we'll keep putting out content for them. And, we'll do our best this week and keep chasing the prize, try to get to 500. Even though that wouldn't get us in the money, it'd feel a little bit better about ourselves.
Yeah, and who knows,
Anyway.
you never know. There's still the final quarter to play, so you never know. Miracles happen, right? Okay, so there's week 11. Not a good week for us. 1-3-1. Dolphins, nice winner of the first game of the week. We were looking pretty good after Thursday night, but then things fell apart on us. So we are 25-29-1 for the year, and now we're worse than half the people at 61%. So not too good. And I did share with you this today, I guess, right? That we are 21-18 picking favorites, and we are 3-10-1 picking dogs, and then we are 1-1 in pick'em games, and we are 5-5 in primetime games. So that's where we stand on that. Matt, comments, questions, anything?
Yeah, I'm surprised by our primetime record. I thought it was a little bit worse than that, but I think we had a couple of Thursday night games maybe that were helpful for us. I know at least we picked Seattle one time. When
Yeah, I
that was
think
a
we've
winner,
only
so
done one Thursday night game so far.
we did win that one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised our dogs record is that bad. I guess, I don't really know what happened there. I'd maybe have to look into that a little bit more, especially because you'd expect it to kind of be even. But yeah, I was surprised by that, to say
Yeah,
the
for
least.
sure. And I'm a big proponent of finding good dogs, and yeah, we just haven't found them. It's been a little shaky as far as that goes. So anything you want to before we get to the games?
Yeah, so I have my own little Ask Dave section, Ask Matt, Ask Dave section, somewhat prepared for you here. And I thought it'd be interesting. I was looking up, I know in the past you talked about like MVP, division. I thought I'd go a little bit of the props route. Especially because it's an interesting week in the NFL for some starting QBs, and there's a certain QB that's getting a lot of hype, let's just say, for his first start this week, Shedeur Sanders. And I kind of wanted to, in this section, run a few props by you and see what you thought.
Okay, fire away.
All right, so let's start in the passing category. Shedeur Sanders' passing yards line is set at 159.5. Would you go over or under?
We're playing the Raiders, who are pretty terrible. 59.5. Who's he throwing the ball to?
I think Jerry Jeudy and Harold Fannin.
Yes, I'm going under because they're going to just run the heck out of the ball. 159.5.
Under 159.5. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Shedeur Sanders passing touchdowns. It's at over under a half, and the over is juiced to minus 172, and the under is plus 134. Are you going over or under?
The over is juiced at what?
It is minus 172 for over one to get one passing touchdown.
I would say he's going to get over one passing touchdown, but I'd have to put that in a parlay with something else. I wouldn't lay 170 something on that, right? I'd have to put it with something else because that's too much juice. Fair?
Okay. Yeah, fair. Speaking of something with a lot of juice, Shedeur Sanders' interceptions is set at a half, and over or to have an interception is minus 223, and to not throw an interception is plus 172. Are you going over or under?
I'll go over, and I'll parlay it with the previous one.
And over one interception and over one touchdown, that gets you plus 130 at
Perfect.
DraftKings.
I'll take that.
Okay.
I think
so
the Raiders' defense is so horrible, he's bound to stumble into a passing touchdown. I think the Browns will probably score not more than 2 touchdowns, but I'll say 1 running and 1 passing.
And I have one more for you here with Shador. Shador Sanders rushing yards. It's at 20.5. Are you going over or under?
Max Crosby's going to be chasing him all over the field. He's going to be running for his life. Over
20.5. Okay.
Yeah. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. He had 16 in his last game and he barely played.
Right. In his 4 for
Okay.
16 passing.
That was the Shador props. I'd like to do one more. Let me see if I can find it. Futures. Where was this? Okay, yeah, here we go. This was it. Okay, so another one I thought would be interesting to do would be the Week 12 specials. The highest scoring game of Week 12. What do you think that will be?
The highest scoring game of Week 12. Well, one would think it would be Eagles-Cowboys.
That is listed as tied for 5th on highest scoring.
Okay, do I get one more guess?
Sure.
Colts-Chiefs?
That is the first highest scoring, plus 425, if you want to take the Colts-Chiefs highest scoring game.
Okay.
That Eagles-Cowboys was plus 700. Sneaky high scoring game, I think. Steelers-Bears, plus 1100. I think there could be a lot of points in that game. The Bears score a lot. Okay, how about this one? Lowest scoring game of the week.
Oh boy, lowest scoring game of the week. I'm going to say this might be a bit off the beaten path. I'm looking at 2 of them, but I'm going to say first off, Bucks-Rams.
Okay. Bucks-Rams is plus 2200 to be the lowest scoring game of the week.
They both have some pretty good defenses. I mean, granted, Matthew Stafford's going crazy, but their defenses are both pretty good. How about Falcons Saints?
That is the second most favored to be lowest scoring. They're plus 450. And the Browns and Raiders are plus 280 to be the lowest scoring game of the week.
That's fair enough.
Okay. 2 more quickly, and then we can move on to our picks.
Okay.
Team with the highest total points on Sunday. Highest total points.
Patriots, Ravens.
Patriots. Let's see where they're at.
They're playing
Patriots are the second highest, and the Ravens are tied with them for the second highest at plus 600.
Okay. Who's first?
The Lions are the first at plus 450 to have the highest points.
Yeah, I guess that makes... Well, I don't know about that. I mean, Lions against the Giants defense, Patriots against the Bengals defense? Who you taking there? I'm thinking the Patriots.
Probably the Patriots.
I think the Bengals defense is worse than the Giants for sure.
Yeah.
And the Lions
definitely.
and Patriots offenses have got to be similar, right? Okay,
yeah,
give me the one more.
Okay, last one. Lowest points on Sunday.
It's got to be between the Browns and the Titans. I would personally take the Titans because that Seahawks defense is really feisty for sure.
Yeah, they're plus 340. The Browns are plus 700, and then the Jets are plus 500.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay. I just thought those were kind of interesting ones. When I was looking at the weekly specials on DraftKings, I thought those were good. Some interesting ones to discuss.
Could be some money to be made there, for sure. Okay, so for all our listeners out there, this is an interesting evening for us because we have already submitted our picks this week. So because we did the Thursday night game. So I think we're going to go a little bit different style than we have in the past. Let's go over our picks for this week first, Matt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we picked. And then we'll talk about the other games and what we have for leans and why we didn't pick them or that type of thing. Okay. So tonight,
sure.
We do have first up. I'll give you first shot at it. We did take the Texans plus 5.5 against the Bills.
Yeah, we took the Texans. And do you want me to talk about this one or kind of what we're thinking?
Yep.
Yeah. So I like the Texans. I mean, I thought it was a good number, even though it did come in a little bit. Obviously, I probably would have wanted the 6 or maybe even the 6.5. But I think the Texans are a decent team. Still, they're 5-5. They're fighting for the division. It's an important game. The Bills also are a similar good team fighting for the division. But the Bills defense, I don't think is very good. And the Texans defense is very good. So I thought, kind of my handicap here was we're rolling with a good defense, at least at home. We're catching points. And it felt like it was just a good spot to back the Texans. I don't know if you want to go through what you thought. I know we both agreed on this one.
Yeah, and I thought that the Bills are not the Bills of old for some reason. They haven't shown to be quite as prolific as they have been in the past. They've lost in some games recently for sure. They're a couple of games behind the Patriots in the standings. And I think the Texans are still in it. They're going to be playing hard and they're well coached. They have obviously a little bit of a downgrade with Davis Mills there at quarterback, but I think they've got enough weapons to probably put some points on the board and stay with the Bills in this game. So, yeah, I'm feeling good about the Texans. I think we both had to feel good about them to put in a Thursday pick, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. Okay. Our second pick of the week was the Detroit Lions, and we were giving up 10 points there, which is quite a bit. But the Lions, the way I looked at it, the Lions are currently sitting third in the NFC North, and they're, I believe, out of the playoff picture at this point right now if the season ended today. And so they need to kind of string some wins together to get back in control. With the games that are going on this week, the Bears are playing the Steelers, the Vikings and Packers are playing together. So after this week, the standings could be flipped upside down altogether. But nonetheless, Detroit does need this win, and they are the type of team that will go out there and just lay the wood on you if they have the opportunity. They're not going to feel bad about beating you by 25 or 30 points. So I think this is a good spot for the Lions. They're at home. The Giants defense, like I said before, is they're pretty good, but I think the Lions are going to just pound it into them, and I don't think they want to mess around with taking any chances in this game.
Yeah, I agree. And usually there's that stat about the Lions playing great off of a loss and covering off of a loss over the last few years. I believe in them here. I think they're going to come out and hammer the Giants. I mean, they're much better at home, the Lions are, for the most part. I like them here. And, if it's another week of Jameis, I'd be okay with that. And even if we got Jackson Dart back, he might not even be 100%, right? So,
Right.
and the Lions keep getting people back too, and they're getting healthier.
Yep.
That was kind of my thoughts there.
Yep, and we were in agreement on that. Here's one that I didn't pick, but we ended up taking that you liked, and that's the Jets, plus 13.5 at the Ravens.
Yeah, I like the Jets here. I thought 13.5 was a few more. I marked this as kind of just a buy low spot for the Jets, and I'm just taking a look here, looking up. I marked it also as a Ravens look ahead spot. Now, I know the Ravens need to win all their games. They have the Bengals next week, and then they have the Steelers, and then they have the Bengals again, right? So they have 3 division games coming up right in a row. I could see them here kind of overlooking the Jets. They're a pretty poor team, but I thought maybe this was just a little bit too much. And even though I believe in the Ravens, they've covered 3 straight now since Lamar's come back. So I'm just looking for a little bit of regression here, and I think that the Jets, they're not a great team by any means. They're pretty terrible, actually. But especially if we get Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, I'd much rather have him than Justin Fields. I think he's a much better game manager. So I thought 13.5 looked good with the Jets.
Yep, I was obviously in agreement with you there. The interesting thing that I was just reading literally an hour ago was if somehow this week the Bears end up beating the Steelers and the Ravens beat the Jets, that they'll literally be tied in the AFC North.
And they have 3 division games coming.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, and they're playing each other. They still have yet to play each other, the Ravens and the Steelers. So kind of crazy. The Ravens were almost written off for dead, and now they're, a couple of wins and losses away from being on top of the division, which is kind of crazy, right? Okay, next up, the next game we took, and this is really hold your nose on this one, right? Was Cleveland at Vegas, and we took the Raiders -4. And for this one, my thinking was, okay, the Raiders are bad, really bad, and that loss to the Cowboys on Monday night was just ugly as could be. I couldn't have played any worse, I don't think. But like we said earlier, when we were doing the questions for Dave, Cleveland's going with Shadur Sanders. He was 4 for 16 with an interception in relief duty last week.
That's really bad.
Yeah, really bad. In fact, a big Raiders fan here in where I'm at, Mike Miller, he was like, I could go out there and play quarterback better than Geno Smith. I could go out and throw the ball into the ground. I was like, yeah, you probably could. But I think, tough spot for Shadur Sanders coming in here. for his first real start. And I think I really believe that somebody might have gotten in Pete Carroll's ear and said, handed the ball off 6 times to Ashton Genty in a game just isn't going to work. He's our number 1 pick. You got to feed him the ball. So I think this will probably be a big Genty game. Run, run, run. Browns certainly have a good defense, so they're going to put up they're going to put up against the Raiders. They'll be there, but I think the Raiders, this is a game that they're going to look to try and get a win in, and I feel good about them. How about you?
Yeah, I feel great about the Raiders. I mean, I do think the numbers gotten a little out there, right? 4 was probably about the edge of where I would have been. I guess 4.5. I mean, you said it. Shador at QB, his first start on the road against that Raiders front. I mean, man, that's not a good place to start, I don't think. I know the Raiders aren't very good, but their defense, if they get the right motivation, they can get after the quarterback. And Cleveland, they haven't been as great on the road, their defense. So I think this is the kind of spot that you'd want to back the Raiders, especially after they just got kind of embarrassed by the Cowboys on Monday night, right? So yeah, I like them this week.
Yep, for sure. And the last game that we took this week was the Jaguars and the Cardinals, and we did take the Cardinals +3. In this one, I was thinking that the Jags just manhandled a good Chargers team, and the Cardinals just got bludgeoned by the 49ers at home last week. It seems like an easy spot for Jacksonville, right? But I don't trust Jacksonville laying points on the road. I've stopped drinking the Trevor Lawrence Kool-Aid. I mean, when you expect them to win, which they should this week, they don't. When you don't expect them to win, they play great. They're a very inconsistent team. It's funny, if the Jags win this game, they will be in a real good spot for the playoffs, right? And they're with the Colts having a tough game this week at the Chiefs. The Jaguars aren't really that far behind the Colts if they started putting some games together. I don't see it, but it's just a point. It's a fact, right? So, but do like the Cardinals in this game. It's just a wacky spot. I think there's probably, people are looking at or the books are looking at the results of last week. The Jaguars big win, Cardinals horrible loss, and there's probably some value on the Cardinals. I think if this game had been played in week 2, it would probably have been Cardinals, 2 or 3 points favored, probably the other way around.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. I mean, when the Cardinals get blown out and then the Jags blow somebody out, I want to immediately be on the team that got blown out. And I'd add on top of that, the Jags have 2 division games here coming up. They got the Titans and then the Colts. So this to me seemed a little bit kind of like, not like a sandwich spot, but just a spot where they might overlook the Cardinals. And they might just drop a game that they should easily win, like you said. And Arizona, they're no great shakes by any means, but getting 3 points at home. I mean, they've been competitive with. And I know this was Kyler Murray, but they were competitive with Seattle at home. They were 2.5 point favorites there. So, or it was like a pick 'em or something like that, right? So, uh, I think that they can hold their own against Jacksonville, in my opinion. So I like them here a lot.
Yep. Okay, let's quickly hop on to some of those are our picks for this week. Again, Houston, Detroit, the Jets, Las Vegas, and Arizona. Let's just quickly hop on to some of these other games and just give me some thoughts on them. I'll let you go first. We can kind of go back and forth. Let's talk about Steelers, Bears.
Yeah, Steelers, Bears. I did lean the Steelers a little bit. They're the kind of team I want to back when they're a dog, not when they're a favorite. Even though I guess I did kind of like them a little bit last week. But the Bears, I think, are probably one of the worst, like 7-3 teams you've ever seen, right? I mean, God, this team has won by the slimmest of margins. They played the worst opponents. Now, my one concern on something that kept me off the Steelers here was that the Steelers, I'm a little bit concerned about Aaron Rodgers. I don't really know what's going on with him. So um, I kind of wanted to stay away because of that. And the Steelers also have some divisional games coming up, similar to, I think I said maybe they're playing the Ravens, or maybe Ravens are playing the Bengals, but this seemed like a little bit of a spot where they might overlook the Bears. It's an NFC game, right? Who really cares? So that was kind of my thoughts there. I don't know if you had anything for that one.
Yeah, I think we probably would have disagreed on this one. the Bears are just like you said, they're finding wacky ways to win games, right? And sometimes that's just you go back and you see teams at the end of the year that they've gone whatever 8-2 in one score games or 6-1 in one score games, and then the next year they go back to the norm, right? And they're a bet against team. And the Bears just seem like this year they're that kind of team that they're getting all these wins just barely. And, you know, it'd be hard for me to go against the Bears just because of the luck they've had and the way that I agree with 100% with what you said. They've not had great wins. They've not beaten great teams, but they look at their record. They're leading the NFC North, right? So somehow they're getting it done. Now let's talk about our team, the Patriots. They're going to Cincinnati, and oh my God, Joe Burrow is going to play this week. And
Is he
that
actually going to play?
yes, he's full practice today, practiced yesterday, and the market's crazy on this. I'm seeing New England -7 at Bet365, and I'm seeing them -5.5 at Caesars and a few other places. So the lines are moving up and down in this game. That might not be a bad game in the middle. But anyway, when they put the lines out, this was 6.5. But yeah, apparently we're going to see Joe Burrow maybe. So that would really change things, right? I think. I mean, he hasn't played since a long
I
time.
completely disagree, actually.
I mean, he hasn't played in a
I'd
long
ra-
time, but
Yeah, I would almost rather be on the Patriots. I mean, I was initially on the Bengals at 7.5. That was one of the ones I liked. I thought, the Patriots laying over a touchdown on the road. Look at who they beat. The Patriots, unfortunately, are kind of like the Bears. They haven't really beat anyone good besides Buffalo, right? Like,
right. But they've laid a beating on people as opposed to the Bears
right.
just scraping by, right?
They are blowing teams out and beating teams that they're supposed to, which I think is good, right? And I think Vrabel's got them, sharp as a tack on offense, on defense. But at 7.5 seemed a little bit too much. But Burrow, I don't. What is the difference between Joe Burrow and Joe Flacco? Honestly,
I think some mobility, right? If Joe
some
Burrow is back
mobility,
to
not a ton,
right, and I
right?
think, yeah, and I think Joe Burrow's for sure a more accurate passer in that. I mean, Joe Flacco's had his great days, I will admit that, but he's had some subpar days as well, right? So I think Joe Burrow is a little more consistent for sure.
Sure, I'll give you that. But to me, without Chase, I mean, that's Burrow's guy, right? Like, he's come back from an injury. He's probably a little rusty. I'd probably be on the Patriots there if it was 5.5. I mean, 6.5. I don't really know. It's kind of no man's land, but 5.5. That's kind of intriguing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I think I'm not arguing this point with you, right? I'd go out
I
right
mean,
now.
certainly, I think the Patriots could put up 27 on the Bengals defense.
I'd go out right now and take the 5.5 and the Patriots, right? Lay 5.5
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
totally. I'd
I'm
lay
not
5.5.
I'm
Yeah.
not so interested in, Bet365 7. I'd be more on
Well,
the
yeah. When I was writing up my
Bengals,
notes,
right?
I had the Bengals at 7.5. Right.
Right. Yeah, and I think it would be well worth a wager to buy both sides of this to take um, the Bengals at +7 and lay the Patriots at 5.5 and hope for a 6.
Yeah.
6 is a fair number, right? I mean, six
Six
has
is a
come up.
common number. Yeah.
Yeah, it's come up, so I don't think it's that stupid a play. Okay, moving
Totally.
on. Here's one for you to talk about: Seahawks Titans. Just too many points, right?
Yeah, I did like Seattle. I don't know. I marked this again. I guess you're going to hear this from me all evening, but I marked this as a potential look ahead for Seattle, which is why I was a little bit off it. I know it's a lot of points, but man, Seattle is like they had an NFC. They have a couple of NFC games upcoming. One's against the Vikings, so you know why do you care about a random AFC game against the Titans? But I mean, Seattle, like when they played New Orleans, they put it to New Orleans, right? Like these bad teams, like they're not just gonna go in there. I mean, I think this is a game like Sam Darnold had about the worst game of his career, and they almost won. Like that's how good Seattle is. Sam Darnold
Right.
played that bad, and they almost beat the Rams. They had he threw 4 interceptions, and they almost won, right? Like, I think Sam Darnold might have a crazy game here. Like, and just go off on the Titans. Think I don't think it's too many points, but it's just not necessarily the spot where you want to lay them. I guess, you know. But I do think Seattle's a great road team too, right? You know me, I'm just like in love with Seattle this year, so it's hard for me to say anything bad about them. The Titans really suck, so
Yeah. And yeah, I don't have much more to say on this game. It'd be Seattle or nothing for me. It's just 13 and a
right.
half points is a lot, right? And it's not a game you and I even talked about, but I think if we had to pick this game, we definitely would go with Seattle. And,
Totally.
the Titans just are not getting any better. They're not. They're not improving
No.
as the year goes on,
Cam
right?
Ward has not had any improvement at all this year.
No, you'd hope for them to show some signs of improvement, but they haven't. So, okay, here we go. Vikings at Packers. I don't know what to think about this game. The Packers are inconsistent. The Vikings are worse than the Packers, but still inconsistent. I wouldn't touch this is one game that I would have a really hard time picking. I could see, probably 65-35 the Packers cover this number for me, but I can see scenarios where Jordan Love goes crazy and gets intercepted. The Vikings defense is not that horrible, right? JJ McCarthy's been awful, but he's had a few good quarters here and there, so I could see them scoring enough points to keep up to the Packers. I just don't have a good thought on this game whatsoever.
Yeah, I think Packers, but there's so many injuries now, like between Josh Jacobs and Tucker Kraft, and they're still getting some of their wide receivers back. So I didn't really know what to think. So pass.
Yep. Okay. Here's a game that's being talked a lot about, the Colts and the Chiefs. A lot of people are loving the Chiefs this week. And I have a feeling they're going to be one of the consensus picks just because everybody seems to be talking about on the radio and different media places about this is the spot for the Chiefs.
Why is this the spot for the Chiefs? The
I don't
Colts are
know.
off a bye.
The Colts have a pretty good record, right?
Yeah,
So
I've tried to shut my brain off to the podcast and the radio shows so I can kind of dive into my own analysis. So I haven't been listening to what people are saying about these games. I only listen to what you have to say about the games.
well, thank you. I like to listen, I like to read and just see what people are thinking. I try not to let it affect my picks at all.
I think that was my
Because
problem was I was letting it affect me too much.
right, right. And if you start tracking these people that are making these picks, they're worse than us, right? A lot of
Right,
them, if you
right,
actually start tracking their picks, and that's why a lot of them, you never hear them say, "Well, I'm so and so and so and so for the year with my picks," right? They just give picks; they don't give any backing to them, right? So, but I think it's
right.
interesting. I think from a betting perspective, you can get a feel for what the public is thinking, right, by listening to these so-called experts, right? Because a lot of people do listen to them and hop on their little app and, oh, I heard so and so say he loves the Chiefs. I'm going to get on that, right? But
Yep.
anyway, I wasn't saying I love the Chiefs. I'm just saying a lot of people have been talking the Chiefs and how they've got to win this game or it's over, blah 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 blah. But people keep
Well,
forgetting
they
that the
do have to
Colts.
win this game or it's over, to be
Right,
fair.
that's fair. But people are forgetting that the Colts are sitting there, with their current record, right? And they've played pretty well this season. So I don't think discounting the Colts is a very good idea.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern was this would be like the same type of situation where like the Colts went into Pittsburgh and it seemed like Pittsburgh had a game plan to completely like stymie Daniel Jones. And the Chiefs would be the kind of team and like the kind of defense that would have a game plan to stymie Daniel Jones. But also I could see at the same time where they could go in there and it's like, they could really, have they could really do some nasty things to that Chiefs defense too, right? Like Jonathan Taylor's playing great. Daniel Jones, for the most part, except for that Steelers game, has been really good. Like they've been a good team. So
Right. I
yeah,
agree.
I know it's the spot for the Chiefs, but I like the Colts in this one. And I bet you that I would almost guarantee you that the Chiefs will be one of the most picked on the consensus this week. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right about that. And I'm just taking a quick look here because when you were talking about yeah, consensus picks and that type of thing, I was just trying to get a look and see. There it is, right there. Um, Oh, that's for a different week, Dave. So what are you doing? You've lost your mind. I was just seeing where the money splits were on this particular game, and of course, right now I can't find it anywhere. So, um, anyway, I'm
I'm
sure
actually
that the
seeing at DraftKings it's 60% of the bets on the Colts, 55% of the money on the Chiefs.
interesting. Okay, let's keep moving. I've
Yeah.
got a lot to say on this next game, if you don't mind. A couple of interesting points. Falcons Saints.
Falcons Saints.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had on my Substack, for those people that are out there, look under Cornfield Golfer on Substack. You can read some of my analysis on there. I put on there for this game, Atlanta at New Orleans. Hold your nose. Falcons have lost 5 in a row, and go to Kirk Cousins at quarterback. And then I said, somehow the Saints just won on the road at Carolina. Tyler Shaw tossed two TD passes and still has Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara. Maybe the Saints are turning a small corner as opposed to, like we said about the Titans. They might be making some progress. Atlanta's thrown in the towel. At the time that I wrote that, the Saints were favored by 1.5. Now in the thing here, it's in the contest, it's 2.5. And the other crazy thing I wanted to mention before I turn it over to you was, if you look at this game, it is crazy that currently Bet365 has the Falcons favored -1. Caesars has New Orleans favored 2.5. There's a three
Really?
and a half point spread out there on this game of difference. Yeah, Bet365 has the Falcons -1. Caesars has New Orleans -2.5. So that's crazy, right? I mean, this game's bouncing all over the place. But with that being said, at pick 'em or -1 or -1.5, I really kind of like the Saints in this spot. They're, like I say, Tyler Shaw, I don't know what his future is or whatever, right? But he did look okay last week. Kirk Cousins, he should call up Russell Wilson, and the two of them should get a golf game together or something, because they're both washed, right?
Yeah.
Now, Kirk may surprise me this week. Who knows? But that was my thoughts on this game. I almost tried to talk you into this, but then when I saw the 2.5, I was like, no.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say my thoughts were I did like the Saints, but typically I don't want to bet a team that flipped from the dog to the favorite, right? Especially when it's flipped from like they were like +2.5 and now they're -2.5. So I just felt like we kind of missed the number on the Saints at least for the contest. But they're off a bye. Atlanta, they got Kirk Cousins. I think he sucks. Atlanta, is Drake London even playing?
No, he's
I
out.
haven't looked at the injury. If
No,
he's
he's
out,
out.
yeah.
He's out.
So what? Kirk's throwing to Darnell Mooney. And Kirk,
Bijan
he did not
Robinson.
look good when he came in. Yeah. Oh, Bijan's fine. Man, yeah. I don't know. I think the Saints, for whatever reason, are like still trying. And I'd be really scared if you had that Saints win total under. I'd be a little bit scared right now because they might win
Yeah.
this game. And I
Yeah.
think it was at 4.5, so you're probably okay. But
And I think they have a couple of reasonable chances to win going forward. But anyway, let's keep rolling because we got a few more
yeah,
games. A couple more games that we almost picked. One of them being this one, the Eagles and the Cowboys. I think we talked pretty strongly about the possibility of taking the Cowboys in this game. I don't think it's a bad spot for them, really.
no, I think it's a good spot for them. I mean, they're at home, where I think they're happier at home. The Cowboys are, and their defense is terrible. But I don't think Philadelphia's looked really that great. Even in their win over Detroit, they look terrible. You thought they looked terrible too, right? 'Cause 16 points. I mean, at home, right? And I know Dallas is bad. They were catching 7.5 in Philly at the beginning of the year, and they lost by 4. Now they're at home. I mean, yeah, I think they could do something here. It's not like they're completely dead. I mean, they're 4-5-1. They could make a little comeback here, right? So I like Dallas +3.5. I think it's a good number. Divisional dog at home, getting over a field goal. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And, I'm going to sound a little morbid here, but I'm not trying to be morbid, right? And looking back, I should have pushed this angle harder last week. I mean, losing a teammate, it seems to have, I said there was a chance last week against the Raiders that it would really galvanize the Cowboys, and I think it did. And I think that carries forward. I mean, sometimes these things happen. I've seen it happen in the past where events like this happen during a season and it really pulls a team together. And I think this is maybe it's a short term thing, but maybe it lasts for the rest of the season where the Cowboys are really galvanized around, being a team and they lost a teammate and they're playing for him and they're discussing that. They're talking about it week to week. And I think that can make a difference. It's almost like sometimes when a team loses a player due to a bad injury for the year, it kind of galvanizes the team to say next man up. Let's do well for this guy, right? So I think this carries forward for the Cowboys. We'll see whether it's a short term or a long term thing, but I think for now it's something to definitely factor into your handicapping.
Totally. Yep, I agree.
Okay, here's a game we didn't talk about, and I'm just a dead pass on. We've been on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon all year, and now they've lost 2 in a row. This is the last of their hard games, and then it's Win City from here on out.
Easy street.
Yeah, easy street. And Matthew Stafford's looked great, but 7's just a tough number that it bit us last week on the Giants game. We should have got 7.5. But that was what the contest number was. So we ended up with a push, right? So this is just too much of a push number for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked the Rams a little bit at 6.5, but yeah, no thanks on this one. I mean, I don't really know what I'm getting with the Bucks. Like you said, they got a bunch of easy ones coming up. So even if they drop this one, they might. I mean, they might give up. They're just waiting for guys to come back from injury, right? Without Bucky Irving, Godwin, Mike Evans, right? Like, I just don't know what I'm really getting from them right now. So they really the Bucks particularly have really confused me for the most part. So I'll stay away.
Yeah, they're a little bit of a tough team to figure out. With that being said, I'm probably ready to jump on the Bucks bandwagon next week. I'm not sure who it is exactly they play. I don't have their schedule in front of me, but I know it's Coast City from the way from in, and especially
Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers.
Let's say
No, sorry. It's Cardinals, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers. I mean,
yeah,
they should win out.
For me, the best scenario would be the Cardinals to beat the Jaguars this week, and the Rams to beat the Bucks by 14 or 17 points, and then I'd jump. I'd be all over the Bucks, right?
I agree.
Okay, last game that we'll get to before we finish is another one we almost put in. In fact, we had it in, and then and then we took it out. This is going to be our 5B game of the week, right? Is Panthers 49ers, and we both, I believe, like the 49ers.
Yeah, 49ers. I mean, I think maybe getting some people back, getting Purdy back. They're slowly getting healthier. They're turning a little new leaf. I mean, I don't think the Cardinals blowout was necessarily a fluke, right? I mean, I think they're still a really good team, and you can see that by the top being at the top of their division. I just think the Panthers. I mean, I talked about the Bears being one of the worst 7-3 teams. The Panthers are an even worse 6-5 team. I mean, like you just look at some of the stuff I look at the underlying metrics. This team is not very good. I don't understand how they've really won these games, right? And I know they've won a few one-score games themselves. I mean, just seems like 49ers, Monday Night Football in Santa Clara, bad spot for them, good spot for 49ers to lay a beat down. My hesitation, it's a primetime game, and the 49ers also just beat down the Cardinals. So are they going to lay 2 beatdowns in a row? I don't know. But I do recall a couple of years ago when we first started the contest, we started riding the 49ers like a pony in the second half of the season because they just kept winning and beating teams by like 20. So I don't know if that's the same team, but I'm looking out for that going forward with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I think what has happened is the 49ers were trying to tread water and stay in it until they got some of their guys back, and now some of their guys are back. They got their full complement of receivers back now. McCaffrey hasn't got injured so far. He's held up well, and now Brock Purdy's back. They might be poised to make a real run here. from here on the rest of the season, right? So
Yeah,
wouldn't surprise
agree.
me. Might be time for us to hop back on the 49ers bandwagon here pretty soon.
Yep, I agree. After being confused all season while they were playing Mac Jones, and I just don't know what you're going to get from Mac Jones.
He played well. I think Mac Jones probably did. He get himself a starting spot with another team next year?
Another team, I mean, who's gonna sign him
I
though, right? Like, I
Well,
think the Jets could do
they
good
take
by
him
having
in.
Mac Jones.
I think they take him at the Jets. Maybe they'll take him in Minnesota. Maybe they'll take him.
The
Will they take him
Steelers,
in
they could,
Cleveland? Will they take him
yeah,
in Pittsburgh? Yeah, I think
yeah.
there's an opportunity. What about the Saints?
Well, the Saints, they're trying to build, right? I mean, but
Yeah.
you really want to build with Mac Jones?
How old is
I don't
Mac
know. The
Jones though?
Patriots,
Yeah,
he's probably like what? He's probably 27, I bet.
27,
He's not too,
27.
he's not too old. So
No,
he just seems like a guy that's like a Jameis Winston that's just going to be like a perpetual float around the league, backup kind of guy. He's going to come in there and provide a spark when you need it. He's going to be like a Joe Flacco. Like, he's going to be
yeah,
35, and we're still going to be saying, how is Mac Jones on this roster?
right. And still playing the odd game here and there, right?
Yeah, and then he's going to come in and throw for like 3 touchdowns, and you're like, what the hell is going on, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Here's an Ask Matt question. Who do you think the Steelers would have rather had this year? Aaron Rodgers or Joe Flacco?
Man. Probably Joe Flacco. I mean, you don't get all the drama, right? Like, there's no drama with Joe Flacco. He just comes in there. He's going to dinner by himself, he says, right? There's no drama.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're kind of very similar, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Joe likes to wing it around and throw it a little more than Aaron does, but maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. We got our picks. I don't know. You got any kind of a live update on that score?
Yeah, it looks like it's currently 9-3, and Houston is on the Buffalo 4. It's 3rd and 1. So
Let's go, Houston. Get
be
that
great
ball
if
in
they could
there.
punch it in somehow.
Now they're
You
first and
know,
goal at the Buffalo, too. They must have been able to get a first down somehow.
yeah, if they could punch it in, that'd be great.
That'd be
That'd
great
be
for
great
us.
for the. Yeah, I was a
Let's
little
start
bit
off the week.
concerned when they allowed a 44-yard run to James Cook in the first quarter, but they're meticulously driving the ball down the field,
Yes, they
as
are.
Houston does. That's what you expect from them, right?
That's what we want. Go
There we go.
Texans. Okay,
2nd
so
and
we got
goal.
Houston, Arizona, Detroit, Las Vegas, and the Jets this week. How about our
Let's hope we can wake up happy tomorrow.
first 5-0 week ever? That'd be great.
That'd be great. I agree.
Okay. Thanks, Matt.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Chasing Circa Millions. We always welcome feedback, suggestions, and criticism. You can reach us at @CornfieldGolf on Twitter. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a comment, and cross your fingers for our picks.